friends, welcome back to the 7th video in our series. Now you've got a lot to be getting on with. In the last video we had all 6 chords in the key of C. We need to get the shapes down and be able to play them cleanly. That's quite a lot of work to do. So in the meantime I want to give you something else that you can look at in addition to practicing those chords. And today we're going to look at learning the notes on the bass string. That might sound as though it's a little bit boring and unnecessary, but believe me, it's vital. Now keep in mind when we're doing this that it's not what we talked about in video 4. It's not a scale. We talked about playing the major scale where we played an open string. We went up 2 notes, 2 notes, 1 note, 2 notes, 2 notes, 2 notes, and 1 note. Had something that sounded musical and harmonious. This is not about that. It's just about learning the names of notes. It's not a scale. And in fact, if we played the notes in that order, it wouldn't sound very musical. So friends, what we need to understand is how come we can play A, B, C, D, F, G and then have to start all over again at A. A note's higher in pitch, yet it has the same name. So what we're talking about here is what's called an octave. And I think we should just have a quick look at what we mean by an octave, clear that mystery up for you. Now, this is a diagram of the guitar fretboard. It's facing towards you. The bass string is at the bottom of the diagram with the notes marked on it. And you can see the first string and the second string, the thinnest 2 strings, are at the top of this diagram. Now it shows a complete octave from E back to E again, and if you remember in video 3 when we were talking about tuning, it's elephants and donkeys grow big ears, so this happens to be the E string. We're not starting from A as you would normally with your alphabet, but all we need to notice is that we have a low E and we have a high E, and we could have a higher E again and a lower E again. So we'll have a look at a little diagram that I hope will try and explain this for you. Now we're going to get a bit technical here, but if you can imagine in a laboratory where you have an oscilloscope, I don't know if you know what an oscilloscope is, but it's like a little green screen, and if you feed sound into it, waves appear on the screen and it shows you the wavelength of the sound that you're playing. So let's imagine in this diagram that we're playing a low A note, and we can see there are 2 waves on the screen, and if we measure the distance, the wavelength is the distance between the crests or the troughs of the wave. We can see that it's 2 centimeters or 2 inches if you're still working in old money. It's 2 units of measurement. Now let's imagine that we play the high A note. So instead of playing the open A string, we play it at the 12th fret, which is the octave. What we would see on the screen would be not 2 but 4 waves, and the wavelength or the distance between the troughs or the crests of the waves would be 1 centimeter, 1 inch, or 1 unit of measurement, whatever measure we're using. In other words, the wavelength is halved as the note has gone up an octave. Now there are mathematical reasons for all this, which we won't go into at the moment. We'll talk about it more when we come to do music theory, but it was all worked out by the ancient Greeks using arithmetic. And in fact, someone once said, music is the pleasure that we get from hearing maths made audible. And as we go on, you'll realise more and more that that is the case. So let me show you how that works on the guitar. Now you might not know where all the A notes are on the guitar, but they're here, or here, or here, or even here. And if you were to hum one of those notes, or sing one of those notes, even though you're humming the same note and you're playing the note to various pitches, you can tell it's the same note. It has the same musical qualities somehow, even though it's higher or lower in pitch. Now for this reason, we can see the notes as just going in a circle and coming back to where they started from, and going on and on. Each time the circle goes round, the note gets higher or it gets lower, depending whether you're going clockwise or anti-clockwise. But we go from A to B to C. Notice B and C are a little bit closer together. We'll see that in a moment. C to D, D to E, and E to F, and you notice those two are a little bit closer together. F to G, and then it's completely illogical because from G we go back to A again. Well, when you say the alphabet, you get to G, you go to H, you don't go back to A. But in music, you do. And also we could say the note before A is G. Well, in the alphabet, there isn't anything before A, that's where the alphabet starts. So it's a little bit logical, but you've got to understand it's just a circle going round and round. I think we've done enough with that. Now let's go and have a look where the notes actually are. Okay, now check out this diagram. Now I'd recommend that you either copy it, draw it out yourself, or take a screenshot of it, print it out. This is going to be important. Keep this in your file. The frets are numbered 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and 12. So this shows the notes that will be produced if you press down on the bass string, the thickest string, in between the fret wires on your fingerboard. So if you play the string open, as we say, that's without fingering it at all, then it's an E for elephants. But if you press down just behind the first fret, it'll be an F. Now I've marked the notes A, B, C, D, E, F and G, what's called the naturals, in a bold type, and those are the ones we want to focus on. Don't worry about the in-between notes, which have a little hash and a little B after them, which we remember that stands for sharp and flat. We just ignore those for now. But looking at the naturals, what you need to notice is that E to F is only one step, one fret. Whereas F to G, you've got to go up 2 frets, 2 to A, 2 to B, only 1 fret to C, 2 frets to D, and then 2 frets back to E again, and then it starts again, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. Keeps going round and round. So there are 2 steps, 2 frets, 2 notes, however you like to look at it, between each note and the note after it. Apart from E to F and B to C, which is only 1 step. Of course, the notes just go in the order of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We just happen to have started in that sequence at the E note because that's the open 6th string. If we'd started on the 5th string, where the open string is A, then we would actually be doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's the same order. Wherever you start, you just follow that sequence through. If you start at C, the next note's D. If you start at G, you've come to the end of your musical alphabet, the next note will be A. It'll be a higher A, but it's an A. Now, you don't have to worry too much about why all that is. We're not doing music theory yet, but I recommend that each time you pick your guitar up, at least for a little while, you do this exercise. Pluck the bass string and say E, that's the note you're playing. Put your finger on just behind the first fret and say F. Put your finger on just behind the 3rd fret and say G. Now we've come to the end of our musical alphabet, so we're starting again at A. Put your finger on just behind the 5th fret and say A. Put your finger on behind the 7th fret and say B. The 8th fret and say C. The 10th fret and say D. And the 12th fret and say E again. Do this up and down like this. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. If you successfully get to the top of the scale, go back down again. It's much harder to say the alphabet backwards. So go E, D, C, B, A, G, F and E. Now if you can go up and down 3 times and say that without making a mistake, it'll program itself into your brain. You'll know where all the notes are. And we'll be able to do them in random order and just say G, D, A, C, F, E, or whichever you prefer. Okay, so don't forget to make a copy of that diagram that we were just looking at, however you want to do it. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and the faintest ink is better than the strongest memory. And then just follow that. All you have to remember really is that E to F is only one note, and B to C is only one note, or one step, or one fret. All the other notes are 2 steps apart. F to G, G to A to B, C to D, and D to E. They're all 2 steps or 2 frets, but E to F is only 1 step, and B to C is only 1 step. That's really all you need to remember. Those are the exceptions. The rest of them, you go up 2 frets to get to the next note or the next letter in the alphabet. Don't worry about the in-between notes. We'll deal with those later. We just need to know where the A, B, C, D, E, F and G notes are. So that's your practice sessions, friends. Practice tuning up your guitar, do the notes up and down the bass string we just talked about, and then practice your 6 chord shapes. And that's it for now. Just time to sign off with my pearl of wisdom for today. And I want to say it's better to keep your mouth shut and have people think you're a fool than to open it and remove all doubt.